Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day. Hello. I'm not sure when you're listening to this, but you are listening to the Portsmouth Proud podcast. I'm your host, E. Washington, the Public Information Officer for the Portsmouth Police Department. We serve a community that's not too far from the ocean, not too far from the bay, right on the river. And we are producing this police podcast for you, so you know what's happening in your city. You know the plan, and you know how you can be a part of it.
Today we have two wonderful guests from Friends of the Portsmouth Mounted Patrol. We have the president of the organization, Carrie Henry, and the vice president, Sarah Vega. Thank you so much, ladies, for joining us today.
Yes, ma'am. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. So before we talk about Friends of the Portsmouth Mounted Patrol, I'd like just to get some background information on both of you. So I believe, Carrie, you are a teacher, or you're an educator.
Yes.
So can you tell us a little bit about that? What brought you to this area? Are you from Hampton Road?
I am actually from North Carolina.
Okay.
I taught in North Carolina for 5 years, and with one of our grants that we received with the school I was at, we did a lot of training up in Virginia Beach.
Okay.
And so I got to know some of the educators up here, and the pay is much better up here as well.
Okay.
So that's really how I ended up here.
Okay.
Now,
do you still live in North Carolina?
No,
Okay,
I live in Portsmouth.
Okay, so you're in Portsmouth. That's
Yes,
great. I always like to hear that. Okay. So then, Sarah, what is your background? Are you native to this area, or are you from somewhere else? What brought you to Portsmouth?
So I grew up in New York.
Okay.
And I was looking for a change back in 2017. My sister had met and married a Navy guy, so she was down here. So I just started looking at places down here and just happened upon a house in Portsmouth. Didn't know anything about it, and so I moved. Met my husband here, and we've just kind of made it our home.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay, so neither of you are from Portsmouth, but you both live in Portsmouth, have made Portsmouth your home. So how did you come in contact, or how did you decide to be a part of an organization like Friends with the Mounted Patrol?
So I saw the need for mainly financial support.
Okay.
Because I have a background in horses, and I just know how absurdly expensive they are.
Okay.
And then just with the government the way it is, the lack of funding to begin with, and then the lack of the extra funding to give horses what they need, not only to just live, but to thrive. I wanted to do something to give back and make sure that these animals that can't speak for themselves have everything that they need possible.
So you said, Carrie, you have a background in horses. Can you expound on that? What does that mean?
So I grew up riding horses.
Okay.
My grandfather even rode and showed until he was 55.
Oh, wow. Okay.
All of my aunts grew up riding. My sister was a professional trainer for a little while. So.
Okay, so there's a family history with horses, and then you just happened to choose Portsmouth, which has one of three mounted patrols in the state.
Mm-hmm.
And we're so glad you're here, that you help us. And so then Sarah, what made you interested? And do you have a background in horses too? Interested in Friends of the Mounted Patrol?
Sure. So when I was a kid, I rode horses. I had an aunt that was very big in the horse world. So anytime I went to visit her, I would ride horses with her. And I'm just a big animal lover in general. I have a bunch of pets, and I just love all animals. So I was really trying to look for a way to get involved in my community, because I think it's so important for people to just get involved in day-to-day life in their community and in leadership roles in their community. You see a lot of people who have a lot of complaints, but they don't want to actually do anything to help better the situation. So I wanted to be a part of something. So my husband went to the Citizens Academy and met Carrie, and he came home one night and he had the flyer, and he was like, "Hey, I really think you should do this. This looks really interesting." So then Carrie and I started, contacting each other and getting everything organized. And then I volunteered to be on the board as well. So it was just my way of being able to make it a difference in my community.
I think it's important because, as we said, the Portsmouth has one of 3 mounted patrols in Virginia. And as Carrie said earlier, it's expensive. And then Sarah says, she wants to be involved in the community and not just complain. And so they really took that to heart, because the Friends of the Portsmouth Mounted Patrol is not an old organization. You all actually started an organization to help support our mounted patrol in Portsmouth. And you started that just last year. So that was March 2024. Tell us that process. So I believe, Carrie, you were part of that initial phase.
Mm-hmm.
How did that come about? Was it a conversation? What sparked your interest? And you're like, I want to support the mounted patrol.
So I had gotten in contact with Officer Leverett and Miss Giddens, who was the groom at the time, and just sort of, talked about how Virginia Beach has a Friends and everything that it does for the beach, and talking about how we definitely have the same needs over here. And so talking with them, we then talked about getting a 501c3, and then talked about all the steps that it would take, all the paperwork and all that fun stuff. So it was really, the brainchild of all 3 of us.
Okay.
Trying to better the city.
The 3 being, at this time, it was
Officer Leverett, Miss Giddens, and I.
Okay. And so from the time you all initially had that conversation to you launching, do you remember how long that process was?
It took a few months, not only to just get all the paperwork filled out, but then to get the approval from the IRS, first starting with making a business.
Yeah.
And then the 501c3 paperwork, not as long as I thought it would, but a couple months.
I think that's important, because sometimes people want to be involved and they don't know how. And then if you just think about some area that you're interested in, there's a way for you to be involved in making your community better, while also being able to explore your interests. So I like that you all talked about it. You're interested in it. You talked about it with Officer Leverett. And Officer Leverett is part of our Community Enhancement Division. And he's actually an auxiliary officer. So he's a volunteer police officer here in Portsmouth. And then he also spends a lot of time with the horses. So he's one of, I think, 2 of our mounted patrol officers. So he loves horses too. And so then, Sarah, you had a conversation with Carrie. I think you said after your husband attended a Citizens Academy, came home, had a flyer. Must have known, like, my wife wants to be involved. This is perfect for her. What made you just not volunteer, but you wanted to take a leadership role?
Yeah, I definitely have been looking for a long time. I actually, a few years ago, I did the LEFCO class that Bloom Co-working puts on, and that's a leadership academy for Portsmouth.
Okay.
And so since that time, they really pushed you once you graduated from that to really get into some kind of leadership position in your community. So I kind of had my eyes out for something that would fit into what my interest in something, because I feel like it's really important that you're passionate about something when you take that on. So this was kind of just popped up, and I was like, oh my God, I love animals. This will be fun. And I really like that I would be able to kind of get in on the ground floor. So it was nice to be a part of the actual formation of it, and, getting started versus trying to come into something that had been established for a long time. I feel like we can help mold and shape the organization. So.
Okay, so we've established the organization. I'm sure you have your board members, you have your officers. So what exactly, I know you said it's expensive with horses, but what are some of or to take care of horses, what are some of the things that the organization supports within the police department concerning mounted patrol?
So our main goal right now is we're in the process of trying to raise money and get grants to get a bigger horse trailer.
Okay.
Because currently the city's horse trailer is not built for the size horses that we have. It can only take one of them at a time. And so if there's ever an emergency, whether it's an emergency with the horses or an emergency that requires the use of the horses, we can currently only move one at a time.
Got it.
So, say there's a hurricane and we need to move the horses, we would be kind of in a hitch.
Yes.
So that's our main goal right now, is trying to get a bigger horse trailer for both of our big boys.
Okay. And I think people might not understand, like, okay, why does a police department have mounted patrol in like 2025? And there's an actual function. So I think it's important. Like the horses serve a function. One of their things is it's crowd control. It's easy for you to see an officer on a horse, but it's also it's easier for the officer to maneuver a crowd because our horses are huge. I don't know if you. I went to the Citizens Academy last year, and all the horses. There's one horse. I don't know what horse it is. He is gigantic. He is a huge horse. And so if I was not paying attention, like, sometimes you can tune out people talking. You can't tune out or ignore the horse. So they do actually serve, they are working animals, and they serve a purpose within the police department and within public safety, particularly when we have large crowds and we're having events. It's important. But it's also important for Mounted Patrol because it's also a way to build community. Because families, kids, everyone, we love animals. Yeah. And so when the horses are out, people, they love the horses coming out, and their kids love it. And it just gives an opportunity for officers to make connection with the community when the horses are there. It kind of brings the tensions down. You really can't be mad with a horse. You can't, like, you're petting a horse. You can't be mad at an officer or anything like that while petting the horses. So it's really a good community builder, and it's important. It's essential for policing. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah.
That people
especially
understand that.
In a time where the relationship between the public and the police can be contentious.
Yes.
It makes such a big difference.
It really does. It does. When we have community events, something like Coffee with the Cop, there's always excitement when we get to bring the horses out. The families love it. The kids love it. It's really an enjoyable thing. So you all are, right now, you are raising money for the horse trailer, or for a bigger horse trailer, so we can transport two. Now, do we have 2 or do we have 3 horses?
We have 2. We retired one last July, June, something like that.
Do you know if they intend to get another horse, or right now 2 is what we?
So, I believe they've been looking for a third for a while, but it's once again having to go with the city budget.
Got it.
And having to find a horse that fits. It's a needle in a haystack.
Okay, that makes sense. So you all, as part of Friends of the Portsmouth Mounted Patrol, you said grant writing. So you all are, in addition to looking for funding for a larger trailer, do you look for grants for other items within, or for other needs within the Mounted Patrol?
We have, the only grants we have really looked into are ones that could get us a trailer or other funds like that. But I know there's a couple federal level agriculture grants that would definitely give funding for Mounted Patrol and stuff like that.
Okay. What is your goals?
So we would love more members. Okay. Because the more help, the better.
Okay.
That's always something that we're looking for. And we're at the farmers market every weekend. If anybody ever wants to come chat about, what we do, how they could help, and stuff like that.
Definitely looking for more board members, people to take some leadership opportunities. We're looking for people who are creative, who are good with fundraising, grant writing, anybody that has any talent for something that could help benefit us. I mean, we are open to everybody. So we're just looking for people who want to get involved in their community.
When you say creative, what do you mean by you're looking for people that are creative? What would you like the creative person to do?
Well, we have one member who helped us at the farmers market. We sell bowl koozies, which are like little holders that you can microwave your soup in, and then you don't burn your fingers. She's good at sewing, so she made all of those. She made some pot holders too, and some Christmas ornaments. So stuff like that, things that we could make to potentially use as a fundraiser, or people who are creative with social media. Anything that would be helpful in us raising awareness for our organization, as well as raising funds for supporting the mission.
And when do you meet?
We meet the third Tuesday
of every month at 6 p.m.
Is it a particular space or venue?
So typically it is here at 206 High Street, but our next meeting will be at Momac Brewery because both officers will be out of town, I believe, for training.
Yeah. So we post everything on our Facebook page if we have to do a location change.
Okay. And you said what time?
6 p.m.
6 p.m. So, if you're interested in the Friends of the Portsmouth Mounted Patrol, you can show up to one of their meetings. The meetings are the third Tuesday of every month at 6 p.m. and they're typically here at 206 High Street, which is the Police Administrative Building. And then this upcoming Tuesday, it's going to be at Momac Brewery. Where's that located?
That's in Portsmouth over towards the Churchland side.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's in Churchland. So just look up Momac Brewery in Churchland. What would you like the Portsmouth community to know? Anything additional that you would want them to know about the Mounted Patrol or Friends of the Portsmouth Mounted Patrol?
I think the police department as a whole needs the community support to make their mission happen. So I think if you are passionate about getting involved in your community, about supporting the police department, and about animals, horses specifically, I think it's a great way to get involved. And I really think it's important that people do something about anything in their community that they feel like is not going right. So like Carrie mentioned earlier, the police and citizen relationship can be contentious, but through this organization I've gotten to know a lot of our police officers and members of our community, and you'll see that there's far more really good people in it for the right reasons than there are bad. So I think this is just a great way to get involved. But even if this isn't necessarily your niche, I think go out and find your niche, find it and get involved in your community and do something about it, whether that's running for office, joining a nonprofit, volunteering. Just do something to really embrace your community and support it.
I like that.
Yeah.
Do something.
Do something.
So, Carrie, what is your vision for the organization, for Friends of the Portsmouth Mounted Patrol?
I would love to be able to grow the Friends to the point where we are also able to grow the Mounted Patrol division. Getting more full-time officers, more horses, maybe a bigger barn. That would be the ultimate end game, is to just grow it into the best mounted division that they can possibly be.
And where can our listeners, where can they find more information about your organization?
So they can look on our Facebook page, Friends of the Portsmouth Mounted Patrol. And there's also links to our website that has a ton of information on it, not just about us. It has a bunch of fun random horse facts.
Okay.
A bunch of pictures of our horses and our officers. Tons of information on our website.
What are some of your needs? Do you want more members?
Yes.
Because I'm excited about the potential of growth, and I've seen, like when we're, like I said, with the Coffee with the Cops, I've seen how the kids are excited. I've seen how their parents and are excited, or people who, they see a bunch of, like, they see the SWAT cars, or the SWAT vehicle, and they see a lot of officers at the Coffee with the Cops, especially when we're at Walmart or in a parking lot. But they're always a little leery, why are there so many officers out here when we have that many? But when they see the horses, it kind of just is a bridge, and it's we've said it already, but it really is a bridge, and you can see their faces change and they're more receptive. And as they're talking, as they're either taking a picture with the horse, or they're talking to the officers who are working with the horse, then as other officers from other units come over, they're able to have conversations with them. So it really is beneficial. I'm excited, and I know you're going to get more friends, and your vision is going to come to pass, it's going to come to fruition. But I also, just like what Sarah was saying, find something that you're passionate in. If you're part of the community, you want to make wherever you live, you want to make it better. And so just do something. And so I just want to say thank you so much to you ladies. Thank you so much, Carrie. Thank you so much, Sarah, for joining us today and telling us more about the Friends of the Portsmouth Mounted Patrol. I want everyone to remember who are listening that this is your city, this is our city, so let's do something great to make it better.
Are you considering a career in law enforcement? Sign on today as a Portsmouth police officer and receive up to $1,500 if you're already Virginia certified. We offer a $1,000 allowance for a bachelor's degree and a $500 allowance for an associate's degree on top of your base pay. Officers can also earn additional income on time spent in court and at community events. Visit our website at portsmouthpd.us for more information on how to apply. Are you considering a career in law enforcement? Sign on today as a Portsmouth police officer and receive up to $1,500 if you're already Virginia certified. We offer a $1,000 allowance for a bachelor's degree and a $500 allowance for an associate's degree on top of your base pay. Officers can also earn additional income on time spent in court and at community events. Visit our website at portsmouthpd.us for more information on how to apply.
National Night Out will be here before you know it, so mark your calendars for Tuesday, August 6th, and join us at Festival Park for the ultimate community gathering. That's August 6th from 3 to 8 p.m. at Festival Park. See you at National Night Out.